Hello and welcome again to another important topic in the history of the United States and the world. Racism is both good and evil. Wait. Before you run away with the regular contemporary way of understanding racism, I'm going to teach you what is true racism, and you can decide which one of the race that you really want to run. Racism in it of itself is not evil. It is when the participants in the race become evil, that is when racism become evil. Stay tuned as we go through this and understand what is true racism. The first question we have to ask is a very simple and important question. What is a race? That's the question first we have to answer. So what is a race? A race is a contest of speed, as in running, riding, driving, or sailing. And then when you multiply that, you will get a series of race, which is the second definition, usually of horses or dogs, or they run at the same time over a regular course. But I like the third one. It's a contest, and that encapsulate the truth about what we're going to talk about in the race. So race is just basically a contest of persons, one or two or many. That's basically what a race is. Nothing else. A race is a contest between two or many persons. Get that? Now here comes the difficult part of describing racism. There is certain truths in here that today a lot of people cannot accept them, even though they experience it on an everyday basis. They are listening to the pundits on TV and not realizing that this thing is true. Let's read one of the definitions of racism. A belief or a doctrine, which is a teaching, which is inherent in differences among the various human racial groups, meaning Italian, French, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Barbadians, that is determine a cultural or individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one own race is superior and has the right to dominate others, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others. The truth is, we live these on a regular basis. The problem again is many people find it hard. Taught in the New Testament. Even Jesus taught this in the New Testament about racism. Any group that finds themselves stronger than any group, it's only a natural fact that they're gonna try to override the weaker and rule over them. This is not nothing new. This is the world. Stronger, indeed, rule over the weaker. That's just what we see. So let's understand what a race is. A race is any contest to win a goal or a prize. That's basically what a race is. So what is racism? Racism is the multiplicity of contests to win prizes or goals. That's what racism is. But the honest truth is, how does these things play out in our everyday life? And I'm going to show you that we are involved in racism from the top of the scope, from the highest part in government to the lowest part in any society. So remember, as we go through this, one race is any one contest, and racism involves a myriad of contests on different levels. So let's use athletics as our analogy, see if we can get to this understanding of racism. As we're looking at, this is the 100-meter race, and all of the participants them are running to finish the 100-meter in 10 seconds or less, or whatever they can. But these are individual races. What we're going to also look at, they are separate and different races where you have hurdles, you have 4x1, you have long distance, and the whole of this is called racism, but they are individual race. We know that this is really basic, but I'm telling you, this is what racism is. And as we go through some more analogies and example, we want to solidify the point about racism so that we can understand. So when you look at and win this fight race, as we are looking at these races, you're going to notice, especially if it's in the Olympics or is in a world championship, you're going to have different nations competing in the race. White, black, Chinese, African, any group. And this is to solidify the point of racism. All group is coming together to see who can run the 100-meter, the 200-meter, the 400-meter, the long jump in any short distance of time. That's pretty much what racism is. It's a conglomeration of all types of races to get to a particular goal. Now, if you look at this other race that we're looking at the screen, now this is hurdle, where you have the obstacles where they have to jump it as fast as they can to get down. The same point is there to get to the end of the race. It's the same thing in life. All group is racing to become the stronger, and when they become the stronger, they try to remain as the stronger in some different nuances. I should say they're trying to be the stronger in any field. Remember, this is an analogy of life, but which is pushed into an athletic game. This is an analogy of life. So we're really looking at life. Every group come to fight against each other, and it can be in the good sense where they assist, which is still racism. They reach to a far place, or they reach an advanced place, and they help others to reach the same place. The problem is when racism becomes evil, when the person who is farther than the other groups try to block the others from getting to that pinnacle of what they are running. If you notice in athletics, you have male and you have female competition, and each group, and then once you break it down from individual, you go to the larger level where it becomes nation, how many medal each nation win. All of this is called racism because it's a conglomeration, and each country is running the race in this analogy, athletics race, to see which nation first from the personal level, who is the fastest and who can reign supreme in the 100, 200 meter, the 400 meter, and then it moves to nation who for after year and year have the largest medal count. This is analogy of life. This is the same thing. If interested in love, you find this is analogous to every facet in life. You have all type of religion, and they are all vying, racing for the same thing. Who can reach to the understanding of God? This is basically what it is. What is called racism. And so you have the Catholic Church. Literally, the Catholic Church is greater than any other churches out there by the natural concept of eyes and understanding. They are all over the world. You have the Protestant, you have the Methodist, you have all the myriad of different sects, and all of them is racing to see who can reach to the knowledge of God in all facets of life. But the truth is, God has already revealed certain basic things to us that we can grasp. And that is also racism. That's just a fight. You see it amongst preachers, you see it amongst groups. Preachers is saying who can be the best preacher. You see in Corinthians, they had the same problem. Nothing is really new. In Corinthians, they had the same problem where people were saying this preacher is better, this teacher is better. And in the very same Corinthians, it teaches that all is working to reach the same goal, to bring up everybody in the same admonition of the Lord. So racism in it of itself, just the word, even though it conjure up emotion or wrong emotion, racism in it of itself is neither evil or good. It's when the participant, the person, the nation, the society, the community use racism to become evil. That is when it becomes evil. And also they can use racism to become good, as is explained previously. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. In other words, time and chance. Ecclesiastic 9 verse 11 and also 12 says, for a man knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in a snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. This have to be explained, but let's just come back to racism and understand what the race is. And if we understand that, there's a lot of things becomes obvious to all of us.